It's time for some speculation here on SCW. Who is going to be the Joker in the Casino ladder match this Sunday at AEW's All Out 2022 show? The match was announced this past Wednesday on Dynamite. We had 7 wrestlers announced for the match with one Joker spot. Of course, the current 7 we've got is Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, both from the Blackpool Combat Club. We've got Penta and Phoenix from the Lucha Bros. We've got Andrade and Rouge, and we've got Dante Martin. Who is going to fill that final spot? I've got 10 speculative names that I'm going to throw in and give our potential chances of seeing them in this video, and then I want you in the comments to let me know who you think it's going to be that we will see this Sunday. So without further ado, welcome to SCW here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now, leave any comments in the comment section, please like and share the video as well. And the first name I'd like to discuss today on the video will be Adam Cole, baby, because he's been off with numerous different injuries from AEW. Last seen in ring, of course, at the Forbidden Door show was a fatal 4-way match with Jay Wyatt, Kazuchika Okada and Hangman Page. Of course, Cole suffered a concussion in that match and he's not been seen in ring since. He was though involved with the beatdown that was done on the turning of the Young Bucks with the Undisputed Elite very recently on the early August edition of AEW Dynamite. He's still not really been seen much since, so if he was to actually be good, healthy and ready to go, this would be a nice spot to put him back in at the pay-per-view. Of course, he no longer has Bobby Fish by his side, who's been released by the company. Kyle O'Reilly is still on the shelf, and of course he's a top name. He'll be someone to be deservingly in and around the main event going for the World Championship. So, and also both matches would really appeal to me, by the way, the idea of Adam Cole versus Jon Moxley or Adam Cole versus CM Punk. So for me, this has got legs. I reckon it's got a potential chance it could happen, and I would very much like to see Adam Cole return to a wrestling ring as soon as possible. Next, let's talk about Samoa Joe, another wrestler that's been absent of our TV screens for quite a while now, certainly an AEW standpoint anyway. I don't believe we've seen him since Double or Nothing. Of course, it was a losing effort in the finals of the Owen Hart tournament to Adam Cole. He did compete though at Death Before Dishonor in July, of course taking on Jay Lethal on that show, but like I say, he's not been seen since then, so I'd like to see him make a return. He again is a top name, someone that, you know, Tony Khan would happily push towards the top of the card, could see him in those championship matches as well. And we've already got Ring of Honor champions in this ladder match, so the fact that he's actually the television champion right now for Ring of Honor, I don't think rules him out of being involved in this match, so he definitely could be a potential Joker as well. Next, let's talk about MJF, shall we? Now, I know what you're thinking instantly. We've not seen him since the Dynamite after Double or Nothing. Of course, he was getting Tony Khan to, to dare to fire him. He actually called him an effing mark as well. We've not seen him since, but there's been contract disputes in the rumor mill, the fact that he's probably happy to sit and wait at home to get a release in 2024, but I think MJF is going to eventually come back to AEW, and I think in a way people would say that this isn't the right placement for it, being involved in a casino ladder match. Why would he be granted this opportunity? Perhaps he could attack the person backstage who it's meant to be, go out and steal their spot, go into this ladder match, go and steal the victory and get himself straight into the main event and the championship program. If and when I believe when MJF returns to AEW, I think he's heading straight to the top. I don't think he's coming back to just play attraction mid-carder anymore. I think he's going to be someone that's going to be going towards the top end of the card and challenging for major championships. So to do that, straight on night one, come in, steal someone's spot, get in this ladder match, win that ladder match, and you've got then a ready-made opportunity to go for the AEW World Championship. Next, let's talk about a superstar that's also been on the shelf recently, and who knows when he's due to return. He's a former TNT champion and someone who has won ladder matches in the past, including the Face of the Revolution ladder match. It is none other than Scorpio Sky. Now, for me, I perhaps feel that it's not a high profile of enough name to create a big buzz going into this, but certainly someone on the roster, someone that has been given some incredible booking in the last sort of 12 to 18 months or so from Tony Khan in AEW. So Scorpio Sky is probably seen as a big deal and maybe given this spot here, so certainly one to keep an eye out for. Next, let's talk about Will Ospreay. Oh, I would love to see him be the Joker in this match. He's had so many great stand-up performances in a few short appearances he's had in All Elite Wrestling so far. Of course, he is a New Japan wrestler though, and he has put out a tweet saying he's done with his relationship with AEW for the time being. Do I think it's done forever? Goodness, I do not. Do I hope it's a swerve? Yes, I do. It feels like we will get the match with him and Kenny Omega at some point further down the line. Could Kenny be champion by the time he does? Who knows? But I would love to have seen Will Ospreay make an appearance in this. I think it would have been fantastic for him to be in a ladder match as well. And I think as well he's doing that well in AEW. If he was to be there full time, he's someone that could be a top contender for the major championship. But again, I think it's very unlikely, but it's one I'd like to see and one that we shouldn't entirely rule out. Next, let's talk about W. Morrissey, someone who's recently just signed with All Elite Wrestling. And of course, he's accepted the business card of Stokely Hathaway. And of course, Stokely's had to start showing some stroke around here. He's handing out all these business cards. We're not seeing what exactly for this particular moment, but W. Morrissey, a big monster in AEW as well, someone that could be easily shot-putted straight towards the top end of the card if they wanted to. This would be a good fit if they wanted to do so. So W. Morrissey, certainly someone new on the roster. If Stokely Hathaway shows he can get wrestlers into top positions in All Elite Wrestling, then more wrestlers will probably be more inclined to accept business cards going forward as well. So this is going to be a natural fit together here, and perhaps we may just see W. Morrissey as the Joker in the Casino Ladder match at All Out. Next, let's talk Johnny Elite, of course, aka John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact, Johnny, whatever his name is this week. Of course, he was the last Joker for the Owen Hart tournament. He has had a couple of appearances in AEW. He's someone to be really fitting for a ladder match, so it could be the right place to bring him back. Would he win the match if he was to do so? No. Would he possibly be a bit underwhelming to some people? Potentially. So I don't think it will be, but certainly it's a name that we couldn't rule out. The last few could be a bit far-fetched, but I'm going to do it anyway. What if the Forbidden Door was to reopen? We've got 2 Impact stars already on All Outs in the monetised Machine Guns. Why not we see it open again for someone from Impact Wrestling to be in this ladder match? Maybe the Impact World Champion Josh Alexander would be a nice fit, or perhaps someone like Moose as well. Let's see, both of these guys have been involved with AEW in some format before, if you think about it. Moose actually competed in Daly's place for an Impact World Championship match last year against Kenny Omega when he was the Impact World Champion. And of course, Josh Alexander has been name dropped on AEW Dynamite before. Now, of course, that was by Brandy Rhodes when she was still with the company, but nonetheless, one of those 2 names would be quite fun to see. Someone from Impact in general would be quite fun. It'd be good to see more Impact getting more exposure. Next, let's talk Kota Ibushi. Now, of course, Kota Ibushi's had his complications with New Japan Pro Wrestling this year, but if he was to be a free agent or was able to do bookings with another company or indeed sign for another company, you would imagine that All Elite Wrestling would be the favourite. Of course, he's had a good in-ring relationship with Kenny Omega over the years, the Golden Lovers, if you will. It just feels like Kota Ibushi would be All Elite if that could be a possibility. Now, do I think this one's going to happen? I think it's very unlikely, but at the same time, it's certainly something I will always say is worth a speculation, and if Kota Ibushi was to show up at All Out, this would be a big time play, a big time signing, and I think it would be a big talking point coming out of the show. I said they're getting more unrealistic, and the last one I'm going to talk about is Bray Wyatt. Now, the reason I'm going to talk about Bray is because he's not signed with another company yet. He's been missing from wrestling for well over a year. There has been increasing speculation that he could be going back to WWE, could be appearing at Clash of the Castle, even those rumours going around. But the last time rumours were going around about superstars going back to WWE, that was Claudio Castagnoli. Remember, Cesaro was meant to be in discussion about going back to WWE, and then we learned a few short weeks later that he's actually debuting for Tony Khan at Forbidden Door, and the original plans were for him to be in the Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor show was meant to be the debut. He was someone that was already under contract to Tony Khan. Well, what if Tony Khan has a deal with Bray Wyatt? What if? We don't know. I know that this could be perhaps a different scale of superstar, but this would be a big mainstream star that could be coming in, one of WWE's biggest hitters, and probably one of the biggest gets that All Elite Wrestling could get if they were to bring someone new into their roster. Now, I know many would say they don't need new names coming into AEW at this stage. I would tend to agree, but if you are going to bring someone in, the name value of someone like a Bray Wyatt, that would be someone that would be worth bringing in, because he would be printing money for your company. He would be someone that could move the needle. Now, like I said, I think it's very unrealistic, but certainly as we get towards the end of the video, we've got to have a bit of fun and we've got to go bold. So that's my list. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have I missed any names out? Who do you think will be the Joker in the Casino ladder match this Sunday at AEW's All Out 2022? I'm going to give you who I think are the most likely candidates. Now, in the predictions video, I did say I think MJF will be the one. I think he'll come in, I think he'll steal someone's spot, I think he'll go and win the match, and then I think he can go for the championship either at Full Gear. He could even come out to close the show and stare down the champion at the end. I think the other most likely ones there are probably Samoa Joe and Adam Cole. Both have been on the shelf as of late, and perhaps Tony Khan will be looking now to bring bring all these big names back. We've seen some come back in recent weeks. CM Punk, who was injured, on the shelf. Kenny Omega, who was injured and on the shelf. Both have come on the road to All Out. I imagine a couple of big names are being saved for All Out, and I wouldn't be surprised to see 1, 2, even 3 all return to the show, but which one would come into this spot would be very interesting. If it wasn't MJF, I'd say Adam Cole. That's my backup there for this video. But that's all from me anyway. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do like, share and subscribe. You can check out the predictions video now in full, the podcast of all my predictions of all the matches for AEW All Out. I was joined by Too Sweet Carl from On The Mark Wrestling Podcast. As well as that as well, if you're into your WWE Clash of the Castle predictions, NXT World's Collide predictions, those podcasts are also available on the channel, and I've got a couple of short AEW videos coming for you over the next couple of days on the channel as well, so make sure to have those notifications on. But that's all for me anyway. Check out these videos on the side of the screen. In the meantime, you've been watching SCW. Thank you for watching. Have yourselves a great day, and I will see you next time.